Welcome to Soul Elevation, guiding your ascension to new heights. I'm your host, Kara Goodwin, and today I want to talk a little bit about the state of the world and, more importantly, what we can do about it and why our consciousness is so critical right now. So, no matter where you stand in terms of the information that you get, some people are still very tied to what the mainstream media tells us, and other people no longer trust the media. And that can make it feel like we're living in two different realities. But the fact is that we are living in very tumultuous times right now. And it can feel really powerless. It can feel like we are being dragged along by agendas that we don't want to participate in, that we don't agree with, suffering that breaks our hearts. And we're worried about the future and we feel powerless. And this is where you understanding that you are consciousness is critical. You are not just a human body. You are not your thoughts. You are consciousness. And so the more of us who are tuning into that and utilizing it and connecting with each other, the more we have the power to change. And it's not that we're going out and doing things in the physical world. It is the power that we have through consciousness to influence the field. And it gets stronger the more we work together. So I want to lay some foundation before I talk about exactly what you can do. I have a tool that I just developed for free that you can utilize to so that we can all unite and we can make use of the power that we have. But first, let me talk a little bit. Let me give you some background. So there is this collective consciousness field, and that is, you can think of it as this invisible energy field that contains information, it contains thoughts. And this is where the media is so influential, because when we're engaging with the mainstream media, we are allowing them to tell us what to think. We are taking in, we are ingesting, just like you eat food and you you become what you eat. The same thing with what you ingest in your intake with the media. So if you're listening, doesn't matter what network you're listening to, you are taking ideas that are being fed to you and you are internalizing them. And then your thoughts are aligned with what you have consumed because you think that that's reality. And then you're contributing to the collective reality, collective consciousness. So this collective consciousness is fed by and created by our thoughts, our behaviors. All of that is contributing to this like dense energy. And we also are being, that's where our thoughts are coming from. You're really not, a lot of the time, you're not creating your thoughts, you're receiving thoughts. So whether you're receiving them from, inspiration from your guides or from your higher self, or you're getting that your thoughts from the field, and it is based on your resonance. It's based on your vibrational frequency. Let's talk about David Hawkins' scale of consciousness. Now, he wrote about this in Power versus Force, and I'm going to share my screen here. So this is this scale that he created, and he used kinesthetics to create this. But you can see that he has quantified different emotions, different aspects of our human experience. He's quantified them, starting with shame at 20, going up to 1,000 at full consciousness. Now, Dr. Hawkins has passed away now, but people who've carried on his work say that there are people who are above 1,000 now. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of this, but why this is an inverted pyramid is because there are a couple of different ways that this scale of consciousness works. One is as a person. So every individual is somewhere in this scale. And it, of course we fluctuate. Sometimes we are going to be in shame. And it's not like if you ever feel shame, then, oh, I'm a 20. And like across the board through time and your whole life, you're 20. No, you have a resonance, a dominant resonance, and you are going to dip and you're going to have peaks and valleys. You may go on an amazing retreat and feel so inspired, feel so alive, and you're up in the 500s and above. But maybe like just in your regular day to day, like the baseline might be more down in the 100s somewhere. Anyway, every person has a baseline somewhere in this range, and as you go through your life, you may kind of graduate into new levels where you were operating at one level, and your vibration, you're able to hold a vibration and sustain a vibration. It's not about holding it, it's about sustaining it. You're able to sustain a vibration that is higher. And so you kind of move through these levels. But also humanity as a whole is also, so if we think of us as a collective, we are also at a level, just kind of like as a human body, as one human body, we're at a level, and it's not very high. I don't remember, I think he does go into this in the book, but the point of all of this is that the higher up you go, why is this pyramid inverted? When you're operating at these lower levels, your energy influence, the influence of your consciousness on collective consciousness is low. The more that you rise up this pyramid, the more you rise in your ability to hold a higher vibration, a higher vibrational frequency, the more you influence, the greater your influence in that collective consciousness. So if you're working at like a 400, you are offsetting these lower by a lot. So one person operating at 400 inner light is going to offset thousands of people down at the 20 and 30, down at the guilt and shame. And if you're just listening to this as the audio version, I'm going to try to put this graph in the show notes. So hopefully you have access to that. And also the link that I put will give you more information because I have like a landing page there that explains all of this as well. Not to this degree, but explains it some. So when you start getting up into like the oneness, the presence, the non-duality, these higher states of consciousness, these higher vibrational frequencies, and you're sustaining that, you are offsetting people who are holding a lower vibration of shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger. All of those you are offsetting in the thousands, if not the millions, if not the tens of millions, depending on where you are. And so it's not a competition. It's not it's just how things work. Things that vibrate higher offset the things that vibrate lower. And so when we raise our vibration, let me come back in here, stop sharing. So when we raise our vibration, we are more powerful, more influential in the collective consciousness, which means that reality and the universe adapts to those stronger fields. And so it's one thing to do that by ourselves, to meditate and to raise our vibration. But one of the things that I have been doing is I get myself, in meditation, I amplify my light. This is like coming inside myself, perceiving the light within my heart, having that grow and really tuning into it. Let that be the entirety of my focus, letting it build, letting that heart vibration take over my whole body and to where it feels like it's coming out through my skin. And I'm really just amplifying that light. And then I know that there are other people on this planet who are praying for this planet, who are praying for humanity, who want humanity to rise. And I am intentionally connecting to those other light, to those other, I see them as points of light. And this is beyond time and space. So I don't care if they're meditating right now in my town, that doesn't matter. It actually is helpful for me if I see them, if I imagine them as being in other places across the world, and that my light is finding their light and our light is coming together, and it's lighting up. It's creating this, it's not creating a web or a network. There is an existing high vibrational network. um, I think of it as Christ consciousness. That's not necessarily to do with Jesus Christ. Jesus was the Christ, he was a Christ. He was not the only Christ being. So this isn't about Christianity. This is about the Christ consciousness, which is a level of consciousness. And this is a Christ grid. And so I see it. In fact, I've created a graphic. Well, chat helped me create a graphic. Thank you, chat. Um, and this is how I see it. So that I am one of these points of light. You are one of these points of light. There are people all across the world who are lighting themselves up. They know how to light themselves up. And again, if you're just listening to this, I will put this, I hope I can put this graphic in the show notes. And again, go to the link in my website so that you can see this graphic, because I think this graphic is really useful for when you're meditating, to see yourself, to get yourself into the feeling and into, I mean, your imagination, I'm saying see yourself. Your imagination is so, so powerful. I really can't underscore that enough. So it may feel like you're imagining it, but you're doing a lot more than imagining it. But you're getting yourself into this light, and then you're arcing your light to these other lights, and this web lights up. Okay. And this web is above the collective consciousness, and it is stronger than the collective consciousness. So as this web strengthens and intensifies with this high vibrational energy, it magnetizes the rest of humanity and the rest of the planet. So the more that we are doing this, the more that we are uniting, not with a specific agenda. We're not coming in and saying, this is the outcome that I am praying for. We are saying, I am here for the highest good. And the thing is that our human mind, and it's really, really hard for us to know what the real truth is behind the scenes. At least this is how I feel. I don't trust the mainstream media. So what they're feeding me always stinks. It always seems like there's an agenda behind it that I don't have full clarity on. And the same thing with the conspiracies, where there's some really compelling evidence with whistleblowers, with people who've been saying certain things and predicting certain things, and that is how things are playing out. So clearly what the media is telling us is false, and it is to try to program us to get us on board so that we will follow an agenda that we would never otherwise sign off on. And there are some really disheartening ways that they're doing that, and that they might do that as they continue on. So it's not, but I don't have full insight into the details of it. So I don't know in my human brain exactly what I want the highest outcome to be, but I know that I want peace. And I know that I want humanity to evolve. I know that I want people to prosper. I know that I want people to be safe and to be fed and for them to feel love. I want everybody on this planet to know that they are a divine being and that they are more than this human experience. There are a lot of things that foundationally I know that I want. And all of those things are higher vibration living than what we have currently going on for too much of our population here at this time. So it's more about just rather than saying, I want this to happen, I don't want this to happen, I want this to stop. When we are raising our vibration, we're rising above that. That is, those kind of dualistic thoughts are working against the ability to rise into and connect to this higher consciousness grid. We have to really get ourselves into the love, into the neutrality, and that is where that love resides. That is where that ability to connect resides. If we're still down in the anger, the fear, the judgment, the criticisms, all of that, you really cannot access that higher consciousness and be holding that. So that is that's the key, is to really allow yourself in this meditation to just focus on yourself as light. Let everything else drop away. Let your agenda drop away. Let your only agenda be that you are this light and you are amplifying this light to the greatest degree that you can. You're feeling it. You are imagining it, you're seeing it, however it works for you. And then you are connecting with other light across this planet. And we then know and we trust, we understand how it works, that then is magnetizing, that is strengthening and intensifying, and it is lifting the collective. It is the more powerful force that then allows the lower to break away. It allows the lower can't sustain. So if we want, for example, if we want truth, if we want revelation, we want to really know the truth about what's happening. As an example, we have to create the environment where truth prevails and where the lies cannot hold. They just can't hold. And we don't have to think about how our brains, logically thinking, linearly thinking, our brains can't get us there. We're not the necessarily the chess pieces on the physical plane board who are saying, okay, if that's going to happen, then first this has to happen, and then next we need to get this person to do that, and we need to control the media in this way, and so forth. It is a consciousness. It is happening at a consciousness level where we say, this is the field, this is the consciousness field, and it does not, lies and distortion are not a match. So they can't exist. It just can't hold in the field. So please check out the link in the show notes and go to the landing page there. Get this free meditation. More than just getting the free meditation, use this meditation. Please use this meditation. Send it on to your friends and family who would resonate with it. And let's access this high vibrational grid and light it up and use our power. We do not need to just stand by, no matter where we are in time or space. That is the power that all of us have. So please join me. Let's do this. Thank you so much for watching. Many blessings.